I've done a few videos about Kotaku the last couple of days, but I really wanted to kind of sit down and really dig deep into why they're being cut to the bone. As pointed out here on Aftermath. Now, Aftermath is a site that spawned from a previous Kotaku writer, Luke Plunkett, which we'll get to. And oddly enough, here it is, Luke Plunkett, the founder of Aftermath, writing a piece about Kotaku, but all about how Geo Media's management is out of touch and making these bad decisions. So I want to kind of dig in this because Luke clearly has spoken to people over Kotaku to get their thoughts and has posted things that have been made public about Kotaku by the existing person running Kotaku right now, which we'll get to in just a minute. So Geo Media cuts Kotaku to the bone as more writers are laid off. Why? Why has that happened? Because they're obsolete. They're not needed anymore. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit more. We all understand that. But they talk about this here. Willow Rowe and Moises Tavares. Once again, Willow Rowe is a pink-haired they, him, man. I don't even know. But Willa was fired. Moises was fired. Moises was fired after writing an article about how he wanted to go play Wolfenstein to kill some Nazis immediately after the election results this week. So very stable individuals along the way that have been let go of Kotaku. But the editor, obviously, we saw Alyssa Mercante. She said she left this exact same day that these layoffs happened. She happened to leave. Hey, whatever. But Carolyn Pettit, another person who is mentally ill, said Geo Media's management is once again punishing workers for its own bad decisions. Management mandated that some writers stick to service posts and now that the numbers aren't panning out, surprise, surprise, 2 of those writers have been laid off. Cruel and misguided. Okay, so Carolyn Pettit is the managing editor of Kotaku. They also brought in a new editor-in-chief. We talked about him yesterday as well. But I want to we'll get to Kotaku here in a minute and the failures within. But let's talk about Luke Plunkett for a second. Now, Luke Plunkett, once again, he is hidden over here on X, probably one of those blue sky folks who has departed because of Elon Musk. He's gone protected over here. But we've seen also other members of the media go to bat for Kotaku, including Paul Tassi, who said the idea of Kotaku as some big games journalism boogeyman at this point is weird. The site has been cut to what, like 4 full-time people constantly dealing with clueless private equity management. Just move on. And Smash points out, Paul, the people that work there are terrible human beings. Now, I can't confirm they're all terrible. I can tell that they all have some sort of mental illness. Attacking gamers constantly and supporting editors that go after people in their private lives for daring to have said opinions. They have made their bed, now lay in it. Zero sympathy. And Paul says, aren't you the guy that made like 500 videos of Alyssa? And you know what? He probably should have made 600 videos about Alyssa. Because here's the thing. People like Paul, they call what we do on a day-to-day basis grifters, right? They say, oh, you're such a grifter. You're making videos about it. But at the end of the day, we are literally the exact same, whether you are a creator online or whether you are a writer for a blog. The only difference is that we do it for a living and you do it for somebody else. This is our job, and you do it for a bigger corporation, Geo Media or whoever the parent company is. We are in business for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we are all making content, whether you have to hit a certain number of articles per day or we want to produce videos that help grow our subscriber base and help spread our message. With that said, continuing on here, Paul went on. Now, I want to go on and really kind of point out this idea that Paul said, the idea of the boogeyman. Like, no, Paul, nobody thinks Kotaku is a boogeyman. Everyone just thinks Kotaku sucks. Like, that's the reality of it. And case in point, like, see, these are some of the classics from back in the day. This is from Tim Rogers from 2012. Why the Apple trackpad might be the best video game controller ever made. Okay, thank you. That's got to be some sort of troll thing along the way. But let's not forget about this one from Luke Plunkett. Dildos, sex shops, and Nintendo in the 1990s. One man's tale. Hey, Luke, good to see you. What's Luke up to once again these days? That's right. He started his own site called Aftermath, which I'm sure is going very, very well along the way. But once again, all this right here on Kotaku on a day-to-day basis. This is what you, the video game journalist would consider grifting, because you had to make an article and write about it. And oh my God, there's ads of all things. There's ads on your website. What are you doing, you grifters, trying to make money? Here's the problem, is that you're not doing it well enough, which is why you had these 2 people and 3 people now, 2 people fired, 1 person left. And that's why you're just not good enough. You're obsolete along the way. But here's the irony of all this, is that Paul is digging in and saying, hey, what should I call my weekly gaming news roundup video game segment? Paul, you can call it Dead on Arrival, because no one's going to watch it. That's you can call it. But let's go back here, talking about the actual existing people who work at Kotaku. Now, just a quick glance at the front page. Kenneth Shepard over here, he writes, Zach Zwierzin or whatever, John Walker, so and Ethan, guys. So there's just like 4 people writing right there, and then of course you got the Carol whatever, and then the editor-in-chief. So that's 6 people off the top that you can just see really quick. Some quick glances at Zach over here. Zach, he, him, ready to roll. And he is making a mass exodus over here to Blue Sky as well. Look, pronouns in bio, obsolete, right? Then we got John Walker over here. If you go through his channel here, he's obviously defending Alyssa. If you don't speak vehemently against hate movements, you'll see more and more of websites. Millions of people and websites try to cater to those very same hate movements for the sake of clicks. This is not hate. We're just being honest. That's the problem. We're just being honest that Kotaku, Alyssa, John over here, they're all obsolete. They're not needed. They're not needed at all. It's pointless. Then, of course, we have Ethan Gotch, who is the current senior reporter over at Kotaku, who, much more of the same over here. It's all dribble from a very, very, very big echo chamber that they live in. The irony of all that is that everybody who works at Kotaku right now is a dude. Like, where's your diversity when it comes to that? Everybody who works there has a penis. Anyways, I just think it's funny to see other people within the video game journalism sphere run cover for other folks in video game journalism when they clearly see that there's a sinking ship and they are on it in a major way. The video game blog will soon, is obsolete. Everybody gets their news from Twitter. Nobody's going to Blue Sky for the news. I promise you that. And whether it's Threads or Facebook or whatever, X is where everybody's at. And that is where you're going to get your news moving forward. It's the #1 app on the App Store. It's the #1 paid and free app along the way. And that's the thing that terrifies companies like Geo Media and ultimately their brands like Kotaku. I've said this all along. I think that this move from Kotaku or this move from Geo Media of letting go of all these people, I think at the end of the day, this is just the next step to going into vlogs full-time, or at least guides full-time. I'm sorry. The idea of guides, and that's where they should be. That's where they should be. They can put some prompts into ChatGPT, teach me how to do this. How do I get all the coins in Super Mario Brothers? And then they can use their search engine optimization tools that company has to hopefully drive more revenue and ultimately, what's the word? Grift.